All right, so we're going to be talking about installing WordPress onto an actual paid hosting environment. So this is going to be your own website on your own kind of server going on. And to do that, you need two different things. You're going to need a domain name, which is like the address that people type in to actually get to your site. And the other is going to be hosting. Now, there's a lot of different providers for both. You've got people who just offer domain names, you've got people who just offer hosting, and a lot of people that offer both. Now, there are some things to consider before just reaching out and finding a company and just purchasing something. It's not super complex, and a lot of these sites will help kind of work you through it. And for the most part, there's really no wrong answers, but there are things to look out for. Now, with hosting, you do get what you pay for. With domain names, you really just want to find the cheapest one because they're all the same. Once you have the domain name, there's really no support that it gives you that maybe one offers a little bit more of something than the other. And to an extent, there is where they can maybe provide some kind of like site lock where they are hiding the information about you being the registrar for that domain name. Little things like that maybe, but for the most part, I would just say just try to find the cheapest domain name. All right, so let's start with the basics here. You can go to a site like GoDaddy, although it's not my favorite company, but it is a good provider because they do have fairly inexpensive domain names and they offer hosting. And sometimes when you purchase them both together, maybe you get a little bit of a discount or they just kind of work together a little bit easier if you're new at this. If you're an experienced web developer or have done this kind of thing before, maybe this will be old hat to you and you can just choose whatever company you want to go with. But for the most part, having both the domain name and the hosting on the same account is best. GoDaddy does have really good tech support as far as I'm concerned. I've had to call them plenty of times and they've always been able to fix the problems, and by having the domain name and the hosting together in the same location, they can help troubleshoot things a little bit easier. But again, it's not necessary. You can always purchase a domain name at one place and the hosting at another place. Now, when it comes to domain names, what's really cool is you can go ahead and just in the very top of the home page here, go ahead and just type in whatever it is that you want to find. So maybe I want to find my name, keithhearnblog.com, and I can do a search for that domain name to see if it's available. Now, one thing that people do a lot of times is they'll just open up a new tab and they'll say, keithhearnblog.com, and they'll type it in and say, oh, this site can't be reached. Well, that must mean it's available. It doesn't always mean it's available. Some people may purchase a domain name and just hold on to it and not connect it to anything, or maybe they connect it to a site and the site kind of hosting goes away and things get all funky on this end, so it looks like there's no site. This does not mean that the domain name is available. You need to go to a site like GoDaddy and do a search for it, and they will tell you if it's available or not. So you can see right here, I looked it up, it says keithhearnblog.com is available for just $2.99. Wow, what a bargain. It will also give me suggestions on some other domain names that I may want to purchase. Now, this is kind of an upsell that they do. Personally, unless you're like a huge brand name, Coca-Cola, Walmart, Apple, whatever, I would not worry about purchasing all these other versions of your domain name. There's really no need to. People always question me on that, and I always say, unless you are a major brand or you're planning on becoming a major brand, don't worry about it. Nobody's going to try to become the next keithhearnblog.net and overtake my blog and have everybody think that they are me, kind of a thing. Not something you have to worry about. I would stick with just that. Now, let's just say I typed in something simple like keith.com. Now, this is saying that this domain name is taken. So what's nice about GoDaddy, not all these other sites do this, but there are other options, other extensions here. Remember, it's not just .com or .net anymore. There's all sorts of new extensions like .one, .life, .services, .online, things like that. Now be a little bit careful here because as you can see, I can buy keith.one for $12.99. But some of these other ones are considered premium domain names. They are a little bit more expensive there. It's a pretty expensive domain name. Now there are other ones too that other people own and they're auctioning off onto here. So they can see this one's going for $24.88. Very expensive keithg.com, not quite the one I was looking for there, but I could purchase this from somebody else. Some of these can be auctioned, some of these can be just sold right through GoDaddy, so kind of be careful what you're paying for before you just hit add to cart and check out. But definitely go through here. You may find some other versions, other extensions that are out now, and that may apply to you a little bit better if your domain name is taken. If not, go ahead and just add it to the cart. Now, other options are Namecheap.com. I like this one. I do buy domain names through these guys as well. Sometimes the domain names are a little bit cheaper here. It doesn't really matter where you buy it. Just maybe look around. You can see build your website for $288 a month. So they're offering some other things as well. InMotion hosting, this is one we'll take a look at here in a minute for hosting, but you can get your domain name through here as well. Again, it's good to have both in the same place, but not necessary. All right, so in the next video, let's go ahead and take a look at hosting, and we'll see what we're looking for in a host.